What's up guys, it's Zero here and welcome back to my Zero to Hero series. Today we're going to be looking at possible base locations. I know I said in the last episode that we were going to tame that Calgatherium, but unfortunately our beer still isn't ready, so I've took the opportunity to spend a bit of time looking for new base locations, and I thought I'd bring you guys along. So yeah, our first base location here is just right beside the red obelisk. So you have the waterfalls, which are very pretty. You have two of the waterfalls here, so you can build this down the first waterfall, or you can go up a little bit here to the upper waterfall. You also have this sort of lake just up here. Now it's not the deepest, but you can put dinosaurs in it, water teams in it. Won't be able to take them out without cryos anyway, but that's good. Alright, just maybe keep your dinos. It's also pretty close to the red obelisk, as I said, so when you are in the later game going for bosses, and you can move them across without having too much problems. There's red obelisk just there. So yeah, it's an area that I've built on many times. I think it was my first base, or one of my first base locations was this around here. I get built across the waterfall. You can get quite good builds, but yeah, it's a good spot, guys. So our next one here is just across the way from the red obelisk, really. So it's a little sort of flattish area. It's relatively safe. Go through these trees here, you'll see it is fairly flat the whole way across here. You can clear cut the trees if you want, or you can build around them. Take a couple of trees out and build in around them. But you can sort of build out and down into the have a water pen, which is great. It's pretty south of the map, but yeah, as you can see, it's very straight, very flat. Not too many problems in terms of dangers. There isn't really much. You will get the odd Carno and Raptor in and around this area, but you can easily block that off. If you build up on this area, nothing will be able to get you at all, and then up here even better. It's fairly safe. It will be mainly pillars though, so if you like building with pillars, which I do, you can put your base location up here and have your dino pens down below in the flat area. You do get good views here. You can see the volcano over there. You can see all the obelisks as well, so it's a really good spot. And yeah, like I say, we're fairly south, right down here in the bottom island of the map. So just up from our last location here, we have this little sort of peninsula area, and it's very flat as well, right along the beach front, really the shoreline. The pool to our right, you can fit a megalodon in there. Doesn't look like it when you get up it, but you can get a megalodon up here. Not getting nothing bigger. There's a megalodon there, just for proving point. But you can keep your dinos in there, or you can build a water pen just out actually on the actual the ocean there. So yeah, it's a very flat area. We won't have any problems whatsoever in terms of any really dangerous creatures. You will get the odd sort of raptor that spawn across the water there, just across here, and they sometimes do make their way over, but it's very rare. The only thing you really have to look out for is the Bronto coming in, and sort of anything sort of triggers it. You also get the fleet birds. There's a lot of them around here as well, which is a bit of a pain. So yeah, our next area here is just it's closer to the Redwoods. We're moving away from the shoreline for this one. It's a relatively flat area as well. You will have to clear a lot of the trees out to see the full potential of it, but it's very flat. I'd recommend building a couple of behemoth gates at either end to stop anything big getting in. You will maybe have to build up some spiked walls along the edges as well, just to make sure that you're protected. It's not a big deal. Like say if you have a couple of dinosaurs on sort of neutral, they'll protect anything that's really going to come in. We get the odd Daracina or Raptor or Carno really coming in. But yeah, the only other issue with this area is water. You're not beside any rivers or beside the sea or anything like that, so you will have to use the water reservoirs, water tanks. It's not really a big issue. It's minor inconvenience at the start really, but it's not really a big problem. but as you say, it's fairly straight. Obviously you don't want to build away down here, it's quite a big area, but if it's coming on down this area, you are very close to the volcano, so you can get your metal, your crystal, your obsidian. There is spinos that spawn around this area as well, and then you have beavers in around this area as well, so you have plenty of access to cement and paste and silver pearls and rare mushrooms as well. So yeah guys, really good spot to build on, and something I recommend. So our next spot then is the Redwoods. Redwoods is always an area that I've always wanted to build in. It's a difficult spot because of the Microraptors, the Thylas, the Tarbirds, all the nasties in the Redwoods really are around here. But it's a really cool spot to build in, really good challenge. Put a few tree platforms in and you can link them together and things like that. Or you could build in that wee flat area there, or on this wee island. Dangerous area. You will also get spinos from time to time spawning in here, but I think once you start building you won't have any problems there. You will still get Thylas popping in on the trees, so again it's just a bit careful, but no, it's a really good spot. Yeah, so it's just here really, so it's not too far away. Our next area then is probably one of the best spots in terms of sort of locations in terms of getting anywhere else in the map. It's pretty central, and right between three of the big mountains. You have the volcano to the left there, you have the snow mountain straight ahead to the north, and then you have the other mountain just literally to your right here. You will get the Giga spawn on top of that mountain, so obviously be careful in case it comes down. You will get lots of Raxes. The one problem you have here is, especially early game, is the amount of Raptors. It's like Raptor City around this area, but as you can see, right bang straight in the middle of all those resources and those mountains and all the resources that they give. So yeah, it's definitely a really good spot. Again, water is a bit of an issue, but it's a minor inconvenience. But yeah, if you're looking for an area, I recommend here as well. So our next base location then it's pretty much almost in the Redwoods, but it's safer. It's sort of I think it's actually called the Redwood Ravine. I think that's maybe the actual official name for this area. But yeah, it's your cliffside either most of the way around, so you don't even need to wall up that much. Although that may have changed with some of the changes they've made in terms of how dinosaurs can climb up some of the faces of mountains and things like that. But generally this is a fairly safe spot once it's walled off and gated off. You do get the odd Theracina around here. You'll get plenty of Raptors. You're not too far away from the Redwoods, as I said earlier on. You'll be able to get your platforms if you want to link that together. Also put your sap collectors in as well, so you're not too far to travel with that. I know they can be quite weighty. But yeah, you also have this big tree stump that lets you sort of just travel right across to the other side of the water and directly into the Redwoods. You can wall that off and stop anything getting across this way as well. But yeah, you're fairly central here as well to all the areas you want to be at. Metal Mountain, the Redwoods Metal Mountain is about 2 minutes away in terms of a Argent flying speed, so you really are close to a lot of really good resources. On talking of metal, there is a formation down here that has lots of high quality metal rich rocks on top of, which is great. Again, it's a couple of seconds flight from where you would be basing, and then just to the right of that there's another area you can build on. You will have to clear cut a lot of the forest, but it's also a good spot to build. But yeah, as long as you don't build on anything on this wee peninsula area, this wee rock formation, those metal rocks will respawn quite frequently, so you have really good access to metal without having to travel too far. And in this little black sands area, you can put a lot of taming pens in place, and you'll get the good Rexes, you'll get the Carnos as you can see, you'll get Raptors and other creatures like Theracinas and stuff, so it's a really good spot for taming sort of mid-late game dinos. You also have a lot of beavers in around this area, it's not too far away. You can sort of get more cement and paste. up in this wee area as well, it's fairly flat. You can build on down as well and put some stairs and or ramps down. So I've done that before. You do get the odd loot drops falling down the where we're parked here as well. So no, it's a really good spot, guys, and recommend it. But yeah, actually, the location wise, just literally just here. Again, we're not too far away from any real resources, which is great. So our next location here is right at Green Obelisk. So this is it's a really nice area. It's an area that I've recently sort of started building on my other saves before this series. So it's nice and flat for the most part. You can build a few behemoth gates that block it off, stop anything getting in. You have access to the Green Obelisk right behind us. You have the swamp area for any of your sort of swamp dinos that you want, like Baryonyxes, Sarcos, Capros, the Diplocalus and things like that, Dimetrodons, things like that there if you need those. You also do have the annoyance of the Titanobos as well, spawning in there. But this area is also what I find is a really good spot for Theracinas. Seems to be quite a high concentration around this area of the map, and the level spawn is also quite good. But you don't need too many resources here to make it your own. A couple of behemoth gates, and that's you set up. Nothing that can get into to attack you. And you're outside Green Obelisk for any of your for the bosses. And then the swamp area here is just across there, as you can see. So yeah, again, we're just maybe south of where we were a few minutes ago in terms of all that metal. Again, it is a little bit of a track to get metal from metal mountains, but it's nothing game breaking. Yeah, so as you see, there's actually a Baryonyx there just spawning in. So level 55. But yeah, guys, it's a really good spot. I recommend it. So our next spot then is Herbivore Island. As the name suggests, it's only friendly dinos really that spawn in this area. You'll get the Phomias, you'll get Trikes, you'll get Brontos, you'll get Ankies. You don't get Dodics for some reason. You get Ankies, you get Pelagornis, Tronodons. I think turtles also spawn in this area as well. But just up this little edge, you'll see some metal, and then this whole wee area, as you go around it, has lots of sort of metal rocks. So you're not too far away from that resource. The one problem with Herbivore Island is generally it can be a bit of a trek to get resources and the other dinosaurs, especially carnivores. You will probably need a flyer of some sort really to make the most out of this area, especially a couple of guardians really for the carry weight. You can use a raft to get about, but there's lead 6s in this water and around this whole region really, so you run the risk of getting attacked. Nothing will attack you around this area except for what's in the water, which, like I say, it's the lead 6s, and you'll get the Megalodons and the Alpha Megs as well. There's a lead 6s just in the water there. You also get a lot of what I've found anyway is the Basilosaurus, the Bassies. You'll get a high concentration of them as well, which is good for later in the game when we start sort of doing the caves, the underwater caves. But I found most of my high level Bassies in this area, so it's definitely an area that I recommend building on. You just have to overcome a few of the sort of the annoyances of having to build over the side of the water really. But as you can see, nothing dangerous to spawn here. Lots of herbivore type dinosaurs. I forgot to show the map location there in the last sort of cut, but this is basically where it is. It's right down bottom right hand side of the map, so you are quite a bit away from a lot of the resources and the obelisks. But those three islands there, you can build on those as well, and then pen off the pond there, have your own sort of water pen, which is great. Our next spot is probably the most well known area in the entire island, the hidden lake or the Oasis. I think everybody and their grandma has built on this area, or at least visited, and it's a really pretty area. You'll see the beavers down there. As long as you don't build in the water and then around that area, those beavers will keep respawning. Their dams, so they've almost like a free smitten paste on an ongoing basis. You can wall these off with behemoth gates, these wee entrances. There's 3 of them. This one leads out to Carno Island. Again, you have to cross the water to get that, but it is relatively straightforward. It's a good spot for a lot of leveling, just across the water there, so it's a good spot to be here. The other spot, or the other temperatures, one leads closer to the sort of the snow biome, which you'll get your UDs and wolves and the likes of those type of dinosaurs. The other side brings us back towards the Redwoods direction. Almost, it's very hard to explain. The bottom of almost, I think it's probably known as Giga Mountain by a lot of people. So it's a relatively safe area around this wee spot. I just need to wall things off, but you can get a lot of good flat areas to build on. This area as well is also quite cool. This little wee pond here. It's an area that I've always wanted to build on, just because I think it looks quite pretty. You will get the odd Sarco spawn there, as you can see, but I think you can maybe make this into a real nice wee area to base at. So this area, guys, is probably going to be the last really area I'm going to look at. We've looked at a number of them, but this is probably one of my favourite areas in the actual map in terms of just how pretty it looks. Again, where beside Waterfalls, there's 2 waterfalls here. You have this big one, and then just to the south of this here, you have the other one directly into the actual ocean. So you will get the odd Carno, you'll see Stegos, you'll see Raptors and things along those lines. They're seen as a spawning, but other than that, you're not going to get any Rexes or anything too heavy. You can build directly in the water as well. It's fairly flat. You can put a load of pillars in there and sort of use ceilings to get a flat base directly out into a water pen, so it's quite cool. And then yeah, that wee island over there is a really good respawn rate in terms of good dinos to go after. There's a really pretty spot, and what a view you can have just behind us here. I'll show you. So you just have your base and imagine having that as your backdrop. It's actually really pretty. I'm going to take a wee screenshot of it. But the one issue I have with this area, guys, is that white. I can't deal with it. I've changed all my settings to try to get it down, but the bright white really frustrates me on the island. But this definitely is a really cool spot, an area that I'm definitely thinking of building on this season. I'm not too sure if I'm sold or not, but there's definitely 3, maybe 4 areas of this entire sort of episode that I'm edging towards, and this will probably be one of them. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed our wee tour of the island. Hopefully I've introduced you to some spots that you haven't maybe thought of. Likelihood is you've seen a lot of these spots built on them yourself. But yeah, if you could that would be great. Click the wee thumbs up button. If you could subscribe as well, that would also be great. And comment would be great. But yes, guys, thanks very much. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.